Hi, in today's video we're going to take a look at recording pipewire audio with PW Record. This will allow you to record the output of any application on the system and save it as a WAV or FLAC file. So first of all, what we're going to do is switch across to Firefox and play a video and show you the output.
No more leaks.
So what we have here is a video playing, and what I'm going to do is actually run wpctl status and just pause this for a sec. And what you'll see down here is the output of the wpctl status command. So what you can see here is various sections: clients, audio, and video, and down at the bottom settings. So the part we're interested in is this section here, streams. And what you'll notice is two things. We have an index and then the actual application that is running that we can record from. So in this instance we have Firefox listed here. So what we can actually do is, if I come across to my notes, okay, so this was the output of the wpctl status command, which is a built-in command with pipewire. And what we can do is a couple of things. We can record the default sync, or we can actually specify an application we want to record from. So what I'm going to do first of all is actually show you how you can record by specifying a target. As you'll notice, we have Firefox listed here. And an important thing to note is you actually have to specify the application and not the index number. So what I'll do is switch back across here. So when you're recording from an application, what you do is run pw-record-target, the name of the application, and the output file. This can either be a WAV or a FLAC. Now, you can also specify the verbose option, which will actually show you output. So if I run this command here in the terminal, start this up again.
It is the one we showed you a couple of weeks back there now.
What you'll notice is there is actually no output shown here.
Changing room, whatever you want to call it. And that is
it just
on your screen there.
Sits there like that, doing nothing. So I'll just stop that for a second.
Throughout this video,
and I'll Control-C to kill that. And what you'll see is out.wav. If I do ls-h, you'll see the file size. There is also a command called pwplay, which will actually play the audio. So if I do that,
now it is the one that was leaked from the JD show.
You can see that's now playing the recorded audio. Okay, so that's version 1 without the verbose option. So the second option is using the -v flag, pw-record-v target Firefox out.wav.
Drop your thoughts again in the comments below. What
and in this case, what you'll see is the verbose output showing
all these videos of the leaks
that it's actually recording. So you've got two options there.
Now I'll
stop that again. PW play out.wav.
What you make of the new home kit for
you can see that's working. Control-C. Now, what I want to show you is there's no auto completion for the options. If I run pw-record-h, you'll see the options that we can use down here. So for instance, we were using the --target option. Okay, so if I type pw-record -- and press tab, okay, we don't get auto completion. So I'm going to show you how to fix that quickly. So let me just come back into this. I'll turn this off. Okay, so ZSS ZSH completions. So what we're going to do is edit our ZSH-RC file, and what I've done is actually create completions for all of the PW commands. So if you run PW dash, you'll see we have these commands available which are installed with Pipewire. I won't list them all, but I'll show you how to get completions for these using the ZSH shell. So what we do is we copy all of this, come across to our ZSH-RC, paste those in, source, ZSH-RC. Oh. Now when I type pw-record -- press tab, you will see a list of all of the auto completions for the commands, so that you can type TA target, press tab, and it will auto complete for you. So that's just a note on the completions. So what I'm going to do is come back to here and switch back to the org tree slide mode. Okay, so as I said, we have the PW record target option and the name of the application that you can use. So that corresponds to the output of the wpctl status. And you can see Firefox is listed here. So I'll do the same thing with a flac file. Okay, flac. Start that up.
On dual linting, it looks a lot better. Well, I've seen it on the lads. It looks a lot better. I'm a big fan of it.
To channel away for a second. Stop it. Control C to kill it. PW. You can use MPV to play it, but I'm just using the PW. Play out.flac.
Lot better. Well, I've seen it on the lads. It looks a lot better. I'm a big fan of it.
I'll stop that. And what I want to show you is we have two files here, the out.flac and out.wav. And if I run file out.wav, you'll see this is a WAV file, Microsoft PCM. If I run file out.flac, you'll see that this is a flac file. So it's not just saving the same, it's not saving the WAV audio in a flac container, it's actually a flac file. Okay, so that is recording by specifying an application name. What we can also do is actually use this command here, pw record --P, single quotes, curly braces, stream.capture.sync equals true, and then the output file. And what this does is basically records any audio being played by any application. So this is more convenient because it means you don't have to specify the application you want to record. And what I'll be doing is actually showing you this command in a script so that you don't have to type out this long command. So this will do exactly the same thing. We've got two options. We have the option with just the -P, and that records without showing any output. And then we have the verbose option with the -VP option. And it's important to put the V before the P, otherwise it won't work. So let me do the same thing. Damn, these lighters. So, same thing. Let's just remove the out.flac file and WAV file. Do the same thing. Start the
I remember doing the leaked video a couple of weeks ago when there was a really dodgy version of this one.
Return. And you can see there's no output because we're not using the -V option.
What's going on with the pattern around the stripes?
Stop that. Oops. Okay. I'll use MPV this time.
And there was a really dodgy version of this one that we're seeing.
Okay, you can hear that bang. Okay, so let's do the same thing with the -VP option.
What's going on around the black down the middle? Oh, the blue.
And you can see we're getting the verbose output here.
I'll be there on Thursday. It's out next Thursday, everyone. We're getting down the middle. Oh, the blue. I'm not sure.
Right, same deal. Okay, so those are the options you have. You can also wpctl status. It's also possible to specify this down here. You can also do pw -record -P and then the audio sync down here like this. But as you can see, that is a lot of typing to do and easy to make a mistake. So we're not using that option. So what we're next going to do is actually I'm through here. Okay, so what we've done is what I've done is create a simple script that will actually allow us to record pipewire audio without so much typing. So what I'm going to do is actually come across to the script, which I called record-pipewire. Okay, so what we have here, let me just get some more tea. I'll go through the script. I'll just make the text a bit bigger. Remember how? There we go, that's it. So first of all, we start off with the shebang. So this is a shell script, it's not a bash script, so bin sh. We've got some notes here, record pipewire, dependencies pipewire, the script usage. So when I type record pipewire -h, what it's going to do is actually print out the script usage. So you can run record pipewire without any option, and it will automatically create a WAV file with the date and seconds in the file name, or you can specify -o and the output file name with either a WAV or flac extension to give it a custom file name, and the -o option is optional. So we've got some error messages here. We've got the get ops, so this is the options for the script. So the -h for the help and the -o for the output file name. We've got the variable, so this is the output default file name, which is pipewire, the date with the year, month, day, hour, minute, seconds, .wav. The reason why we use seconds is because what this allows you to do is record each file with a unique file name so that it won't clobber the previous file, because it will have a different timestamp. We then have the function here, which is basically pw-record -P stream capture sync equals true. So that will capture any audio playing through any applications. And then this section here, output equals output default. And what this does is if you specify the -o option, it's going to use the output. So output corresponds to here. So this is the opt-arg. So this is the basically this variable output corresponds to whatever you give the -o option. So you said my audio.wav, output would be equal to my audio.wav. Whereas if you don't specify the -O option and a output file name, what it's going to use is it's going to see that there's no output set. The output variable is empty, and it will fall back to this output default up here, which is pipewire and the date. And then finally what we do is we run the function. So let's show you that in action. So just check we've got nothing there. So all we need to do is run record pipewire, and I've set this so that there is no output.
All those details soon, but I'll be there. We're always there on Kit Launch videos, been doing that for years.
There's no output
but
here.
We'll be there, and I'll be buying it. Yeah, I'm going to be buying it. I want to see.
Stop that. And what you'll see here is we have pipewire dash year, month, day, hour, minute, seconds .wav.
But I'll be there. We're always there on Kit Launch videos, been doing that for years.
Stop that. rm pipewire.wav, and let's do the same thing with the -O option, and let's create a flac this time. So we'll put output.flac. Start the audio up.
Definitely want to see it in the flesh first.
Press return.
That's when you can give on 100% judgment.
Leave it for a second.
Pictures, when it's fitted, when it's.
Stop that. Okay, there we go. MPV output.
First, that's when you can give on 100% judgment.
Okay. Right, so that's the gist of it. So let me just show you it recording from another application. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use another script I wrote called Pinch, which works with the music player daemon to take the audio from a video and play it with MPD. So what I'm going to do is run pinch-I, and then I'm going to switch to NCMPC. Give it a second.
No more leaks, no more waiting around. It is
now what I'm going to do is run wpctl status,
for the 2025-26 season.
And just pause that for a sec. Is in the streams, what you'll see, you'll still see Firefox listed. You can see it's paused there because I paused the video. And down here, what you'll see is music player daemon, and you can see I'm using NCMPC to connect to the music player daemon and play the audio. Now, what I found is I actually had issues using PW record -- target music player daemon. It didn't actually seem to work, and I'm not sure if that was a quoting issue. I had it quoted, but I had issues actually using the target option to try and record from the music player daemon. So what I'm going to do now is run the record pipewire script. I'll start that back up.
A couple of weeks back there now. It is the one that was leaked from the JD showroom.
Leave that for a second.
Changing room, whatever you want to call it. And that.
Stop that. Kill that. There you go. MPV pipewire.
It is the one that was leaked from
and
the JD.
You can see it's captured the output from the music player daemon. So that was just to show you that it does actually work with any application. So let me stop that there. And what I'll do now is come across to ITV, and let's just pick a okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to play this. So as you can see up here, some audio or video on this site uses DRM software. Play that. So that's now playing wpctl status. You can again see Firefox is listed here.
All missiles enabled.
Record, pipewire.
Not the correct procedure, Captain.
Just leave this to chunder away for a second while it's actually recording the audio.
I want somebody on the goddamn phone before I kill 20 million people.
I'm going to stop that. And pipewire.
That's not the correct procedure, Captain.
Try SAC headquarters on the HF.
That's not the correct procedure.
Screw the procedure. I want somebody on the goddamn phone before I kill 20 million people.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. So let me just stop that. So that was capturing audio that was playing using DRM. Not advising you to do that. I'm just saying that it's possible. So this will basically allow you to easily capture the output of any audio that's playing on the system. So let me just close this now. Let me just go back up. Slide mode and go through the actual settings again. So dead simple to use. All the commands are built in, so we're not having to install any extra applications or anything like that. So to recap, let me just come back to YouTube. And as you will also notice, what happens is you can see I'm actually recording with OBS Studio at the moment, and I could actually capture, I was capturing the desktop audio with OBS Studio at the same time as I was actually recording it using Pipewire's PW record command. Now, if you're on GNOME, what you'll actually notice is when you are running the PW record application, you'll see this little icon up here of a orange microphone. And this basically indicates that the audio is actually being captured. It is also possible to use PW record to capture the output of the microphone as well. I haven't actually tried that, so maybe I could give that a go as well and see if that's possible. I just wanted to mention that you will see this little icon on GNOME showing you that the system audio is being recorded, indicated by this microphone icon being orange. Doesn't actually mean the microphone on your system is being recorded. It just indicates that there is recording going on, just to notify you. So let's see if we can actually do the same thing and record the microphone as well. So actually recording, so what we've got here is, you can see built-in audio and blue snowball. So what we want is the blue snowball, and as I said, you may be tempted to think, oh, I can just use the number here. This index isn't for recording, it's just to specify the actual index of the device, so you can't actually use that. So let's try using blue snowball and see if that actually works. So that would be pw-record, and we'll put -v. We can use -v or verbose, yeah, with the auto completions, --target. Now, unfortunately, there isn't a completion for the device, so you can't type blue snowball and have it actually record. So we've got the streams. I'm not sure. I think this. I'm not sure if we need to use the source or the streams. So we'll find out. So right. So I guess we need to do this in. Let's see. Is it a W capital S? snowball. So this may just use garbled output. So let's see and check if that actually works. So what I'm going to do is actually record this and see if this actually captures the audio. I'm going to now stop that. Now you may want to turn the audio down just in case it produces garbled output. So let's just check. Okay, MPV pipewire.
It's not the correct procedure, Captain.
Oh no, it was yeah, it was the out.wav, my bad. MPV out.wav. Okay, this may just go so just to warn you. Yeah. Right, I stopped that quickly. Right, so that didn't work. wpctl. Okay, wpctl status. So what I may actually you may have to do is okay, you may have to use one of these options here. You can see we've got all these different options here for OBS Studio. Right, we've got, so using the device, actually capturing the device didn't work. The sync, that is my headphones. Blue snowball analog source. Right, let's try that, see if that works. Okay, PW record -v --target. Put it in single quotes. Test.wav. Again, this might not work. This may just produce garbled output. As I said, I haven't tried this as yet. So let me just check. I have a feeling it won't. Yeah, okay, there we go. So wpctl status. So actually trying to use these options doesn't work. You actually need to record the stream. So let's see if I can just specify OBS and have it record the mic as well. So let's see. bs.wav. All right, see if this does anything. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a quick test. Let's just check that. Right, okay, you could hear that was going funny, so that obviously doesn't work. As I said, I haven't actually tried recording the microphone, but what I just want to do is actually show you the list of commands that you can actually do. So if you type pw- and press tab, what you should do is get a list of the PW commands that you can actually use. We've got cat, CLI, config, container dot, DSD, play, dump, enc play, link, loopback, metadata, MIDI dump, MIDI play, MIDI record, mon, play, profiler record, reverse top, and V4L2, which is for video. So an interesting one to look at might be the PW loopback, which I presume creates a loopback device similar to what you can actually do with Pulse Audio. Create a virtual microphone. So the only ones I've really looked at are PW Play and PW Record. I haven't actually looked into these, and these don't actually have man pages. But if you run, say, loopback-h, it should actually give you a list of the options that you can use. So the recording the mic, I haven't looked into it, as I said. I've just been using it to actually capture desktop audio. But to give you a quick recap, you run wpctl status. And again, this is going to give you an output similar to this, where you have the clients, the audio, so you've got the devices and the syncs and the sources. Then you have the streams, and this will show you the actual application that is active and playing audio. Then further down you have the video devices. You can see V4L2, and finally you have the settings, which is the default configured device. So this is the output device and the audio sync. And as you can see, this is a lot longer command to actually type out. So that's why it's easier to either specify the application by name, but as I said, I actually had issues with some of the names that had spaces in actually recording, even if I used single quotes around the name. So again, recording audio from Firefox, for example, would be pw-record-target Firefox out.wav or out.flac. Or with the verbose output, you would use the -v option or --verbose target Firefox.out.wav. And to record the default sync, which is what I'm using in the script that I showed you, is pw-record-P single quotes, curly braces, space, stream.capture.sync equals true, space, curly brace, single quote, output.wav or output.flac. Again, if you want verbose output, you use the -v option here, -vp. You have to put the V before the P, because the P option expects the stream capture sync true, or the or as I said, what you can do is actually specify the default sync like this. You can use this option down here, but that's a lot of typing, so we won't be doing that. So stream.capture.sync equals true basically captures the output of any application playing audio on the system. And again, we have the ZSH completions here. So this is the ZSH completion, so that when you type one of the commands and then -- and press tab, it will offer you all of the completions for the command. So for example, pw play -- press tab, and it's going to show you all of the options here. So let me just have a look at the record option. So what you have in the record options are channel map channels. So this is channels default to that stereo. The format that you can actually record in, default is S16. So you can actually specify the channels and the format. We've got help, we've got latency, which is default 100 milliseconds. We've got the media category. So this is default playback, music, roll type. So that's music and audio. You can just leave that there. Node properties. Now quality. Quality only applies when you're resampling. So by that, what I mean is, suppose the audio is playing at 100 kilohertz and you're recording at 4800 kilohertz. The quality is basically only applied when you're actually resampling the audio, and the default is 4, and it goes from 0 to 15. 0 is the lowest quality, 15 is the highest, but actually uses more CPU. And again, you're not going to really actually use this option because most of the audio is actually going to be played at 4800 kilohertz, and you're going to be recording at 4800 kilohertz, and so no resampling is actually taking place, so the quality option won't actually have any effect. The remote, I haven't looked into the target. So the target was when we actually specified the name of the application we wanted to record from. Verbose, that's the verbose output with either -- verbose or -v option, and the volume you can just leave at the default. So basically you don't need most of these options. You can just actually set it to record wire. So again, as you can see in the script here, we're not using any of the options, we're just using the -p option, stream capture sync equals true, and then the output. So it's simple to use. Say it will allow you to record the output from any application really easily. All the commands are actually installed when you have Pipewire installed, so there's no extra applications or command line tools you need to install. It's all ready to go, it's all built in. And just to remind you, you will see this little microphone being highlighted when you're actually recording. It doesn't mean you're actually recording your microphone, it just indicates that audio on the system is actually being recorded. If you're on on a different desktop, it may or may not have something similar. I'm not sure about KDE or any of the other desktops if they have an indicator showing you that audio is actually being recorded. So that's basically the gist of it. Really nice and easy to use, all built in. And as I said, instead of actually specifying these options like PW record -- target, then the name of the application, which, as I said, I have had some issues trying to use the -- target with applications that have spaces in the names, even though they were single quoted. That's why I would recommend using the stream capture sync equals true option. But as I said, that's a bit of a pain to type out. Not exactly nice and easy to use. So that's why I knocked up the record pipewire script. And as I said, if you want to have verbose output in this, so right. So a couple of things. Say you want to change this to have verbose output and record as a FLAC file. So you can, as I said, just specify the -o option and the name of the output file with .flac, or you can just simply change this to FLAC. So if you want to have FLAC by default without specifying the -o option, just change that to FLAC. So let's come across to Rubinstein. Okay. So there we go, Rubinstein. So what we'll do is record Pipewire. Let's return.
Friday. The sun is
see that's going along.
You're just 2 days away.
Stop that. Press Control C. You can now see that by default it has created a FLAC file. Suppose we want to have verbose output by default. There's two ways you can do it. You can use -v like this, or you can combine the options, but the V must comes before P. V before P. Simple to remember. So if we, with those two changes, we've changed the default output to FLAC and set it to have verbose output as well. Let me just remove the previous script, previous file. So record-pipewire, start the audio up, press return, and you'll see we now have verbose output showing you what's actually going on. So you can see here
praying
audio capture music,
League football for next
rename, all this kind of stuff, and you'll see the output going along. So just close that. So it really depends whether you want to actually have your terminal come up with lots of verbose output like that. Otherwise, as I said,
to do so,
what happens is when you press return, it just hangs like that. It looks like it's not doing anything, but it is, and you can see it's doing something because the microphone is orange on GNOME, indicating system audio is being recorded. Have some more tea. So I'll just change that back to WAV. Okay. So, and as I said, you can check that these are actually they're actually FLAC audio files. It's not just saving a WAV file inside a FLAC container. It is actually a FLAC file. So you have WAV or FLAC, MPV, not MPV, MP3 output isn't available. It's just WAV or FLAC from what I can see. So that's it. So just remember wpctl. What you can see here is when I press tab, these are the options. You just press status. And again, that's going to list the clients, the audio streams, the video, and the settings. So again, you just want to actually use the streams here, and you can't use these numbers. They're just indexes. They're not actually for recording. They're just there to show you a list of all of the options, all of the sync sources and streams. So it's the streams options you want to be looking at. And again, you can see it's actually indicating this is paused. So you can specify -- target, name of the application, but to be honest, that's a bit of a pain. So it's easier just to use the sync command to actually record whatever's coming out the system, because that's probably what you want to do. So I put links to all this under the video, and as I said, I've made it simpler for you so you can just have this little script here, record-pipewire. Just run that and it will record whatever is playing on the system in any application, Firefox, Chrome, MPD, even applications that use DRM. So the DRM isn't actually, the audio isn't actually encrypted the same way that the video is. So you can actually use it for that purpose if you want. I'm not saying you should, but I'm just pointing out that the PW record script will actually record whatever's coming out the system to make it easy to actually capture whatever is playing. And as I said, I prefer it without the verbose option, putting loads of stuff out in the terminal. It's just cleaner, and you can also do stuff like you could set a hotkey to actually record stuff. So what I could do is let's come across here just for completion's sake. So let's come across to the keyboard, view custom, right, view and customize shortcuts, custom shortcuts. So what we can actually do is actually create a, let me just check Okay, no, we don't want that. Okay, so I'm just going to use, for example, Super E for this because it's a keyboard shortcut that's not already taken. So what we'll do is we'll call this record. Well, the only issue with this is if you set a keyboard shortcut, you obviously would have to, let me just check this, PW record, let's play. Hang on.
Partying late into the
What
night,
I want to do here,
celebrating,
PW.
you know, Champions League football.
no,
But we've got loads to get into today. Obviously, we've got the game on
Pipewire.
Sunday, news on the new stadium.
What I should be able to do is
Newcastle
pkill, record,
announced
Pipewire. Let
confirmed
me
the
just check
home
this
kit
works.
for next season, as well as a few
Okay, yeah.
transfer
Okay, that's all
rumours
good.
as well. So,
Right. The reason why I wanted to check that is because if you set a keyboard shortcut for this to activate the script and record desktop audio, there is no terminal for you to Control C and kill the application. Ugh, she's gone cold. So what you would need to do in that case is actually run pkill record-pipewire. So let's come back across. Record-pipewire. So this is the name, and then the command. So record-pipewire, and we'll set the keyboard shortcut to be Super E. Add, right. Let's do that.
as I say, I am on early today.
And
Eddie Howe has not done his press
This
conference
may,
yet,
let me just.
but the big thing I'm waiting to hear
Pipewire.
on is Alexander Isak. The reports
Right,
are
so
that he has
if I now
50-50
press Super
chance
E,
to be available against Everton this weekend. We missed him against
what
Arsenal.
typically happens,
massively.
okay,
And if I'm honest, I
what
don't
you'll
think Eddie Howe's
see
going to tell
is
us. I think the
this is
earliest
actually being
we'll
saved
hear
in the home
about
directory
Alexander
here.
Isak,
I'm just going to do
whether he's on the team
pkill
sheet or not. Because if he is
record
fit, Eddie Howe's not going to want
wire.
to give the game away.
Okay, stop that. The reason for that is typically when you create a keyboard shortcut for something like that, you see, when we were running the command record pipewire, it was saving it to the current directory. Because there's no terminal active and we're not actually in a directory and running the script where it outputs the file, what it will actually do is output this to the home directory. So let's say you don't want that. So what we could do is we could actually do two things. We can either specify, we could change this, so we could change the script so it, for example, always records to the desktop, for example, or music like that. What we could also do, see if this works. Suppose we don't want to hard code it in the script. What we could also do is see if this works. Customize shortcuts, called pipewire. So what we could do is specify out music. See if this actually works. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, that's all saved. So let's check if that actually works. There's Rubenstein.
But look, it's going to be big. It's going to be a big atmosphere.
Pressing Control E now works. LS music.
Be wearing our new home kit.
Nope, that didn't work. It didn't like that
because
at
this
all.
is something that Newcastle used to do years ago. It's basically a way of promoting the
record pipewire. So that's not running. So that's obviously an issue with the quoting or something. Let's have a look. Okay, so it may be the tilde. Let me just check if it's not actually right. So that didn't actually record. So it may be that because we have a the tilde here, it's not actually being expanded. So let's try wrapping that whole thing in double quotes, see if that works. All right, start that up again.
Kid, before you even get into the summer, it kind of
Poly, LSL music.
Era
no, that didn't work either. But that's obviously just a an issue with how the keyboard shortcuts actually work on GNOME. It didn't actually like that, so I'm just going to remove that there. So yeah, the easiest option is actually going to be to change the script. So what we can do is, typically in a script you can use tilde, but it's better to use home. So what we do is home curly brace like this, music, pipewire. Let's recreate the keyboard shortcut and see if it works this time. So record pipewire, record pipewire, set the shortcut, add those, start that up again.
Ready, too
and
slow.
It should now,
hopefully. What I will say
hopefully.
about Custore is that some of their designs were all right, but the quality.
Yeah, there we go.
Having stuff available was just.
So, if at first you don't succeed, have a bit more tea and try again. So basically, all we did was we altered the script. So inside the double quotes, we've got $, curly braces. And the reason why you want to use curly braces, okay, is because if you do this, it can get confused by other options passed after it. So it's always best to use curly braces. So $, curly brace, home, curly brace, / music or whatever directory, and the output there, change it to WAV if you want. And there would be no point in having verbose output with a keyboard shortcut because you're not actually going to see what's going on. And again, let me just check that that's still going. Record pipewire. Yeah, you can see the PID there. So if you started it with a keyboard shortcut, the easiest thing to do is, instead of typing the PID using kill, you can just do pkill, record pipewire, and run that again. You can see that has now stopped. So I'll just remove that, set it back to the default. Remove the keyboard shortcut just to clean things up. So that gives you a couple of options on how to do stuff. You can either do it on the command line, or create a keyboard shortcut. But I said the kind of disadvantage of doing that is you got to run pkill, record pipewire, and sort of you may forget that it's actually recording and leave it running, and then suddenly think why the hell have I got a 1 gig file here because you've left it recording all night, something like that. So I'll put links to all this under the video. Hope that helps out and makes it easier to record audio from applications on Linux using Pipewire.